did that mean for you, like when Morgan started having issues?
Well, it was just, it was almost like my worst fear. You know, like I think we told you that story when we came upon the destroyed library downstairs. You know, I thought it seemed like it was going to be
Morgen documentary about the daughter.
I was really impressed with the fact that that it did, you know, that it basically said mental illness is a disease, and I would, because I was like, well, does she have cancer? You know, what was wrong with her? Like, it took a while to figure out what was wrong with her, and I think it did a good job of saying, you know, mental illness is just as severe as cancer or any of those other diagnoses, and so that was something that really I think was. I think the filmmaker is very brave to
Exactly,
put
right?
their
The whole family,
yeah,
the whole
the
family.
whole family,
Mm-hmm.
really just the father reading that piece of paper and all that stuff. It was very, very strong.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like going through the beginning of it, you think that she must have cancer or she has some sort of like a fatal disease. But I love that. I think that's once they start talking about the destroyed library, and then you start to understand like, oh, it's a she suffers from mental illness, and I think it's really important that we talk about it in such a way. And I loved that she did the interviews. A lot of times documentaries will have the interviewer behind the camera, but I love that she was part of it. And you could really see her reacting to the dad reading the note, and honestly not even knowing if she was alive, if she had committed suicide, or the entire film I was like, oh my god, I hope that she's alive. It's so traumatizing. But I was incredibly moved by that film. I really enjoyed it a lot.
I thought that documentary was really, like, it was like a family paying homage to like this person that is suffering through this. And I think in the beginning, like, we were all confused of like, oh, did she pass away? You know, like, did she, you know, did something happen to her? Like, what kind of illness is she suffering from? And it kind of made it seem like she had already passed on. But I think that kind of overall glued it all together because, you know, they're going back to the memories of like, you know, when she was prior to her illness. And it's just like, you know, paying homage to like her herself, and I just thought that like they're trying to salvage, and you know, like that she's still alive, and just like celebrating that she's still alive, and celebrating that, you know, there's still a family. And what really touched me was when the father read that note. In the beginning of it was like, it said, oh, I feel dead inside, and it's just, you know, that's how she feels. And you know, it's kind of the overall sense that like it was from the beginning that she kind of felt that way. But they're still a family, and they're bringing it back together and trying to salvage and, you know, make her well.
Yeah, I also wanted just a little bit more background because as I was watching it, you know, really enjoyed the past footage, like of her growing up, and just it really kind of hit home to me because I have a younger sister and we're 3 years apart. And I have a godson now that's 2 years old, and yesterday during Halloween I was, you know, making my own video tape through my Instagram, just creating a story with some trick-or-treating for the first time. He's 2 years old. So just seeing that, and then just hearing, like at first I thought she had passed away because it seemed like that's what it was leading up to. But I was happy to hear that she was still alive. But from my perspective, I wasn't sure like what condition. I don't know if anybody else was aware.
I agree in some ways with what you just said, but I also feel that the movie was so much sugar-coated. I've experienced mental illness in my family and my mother's family and my ex-husband's family, and when they mentioned psychotic episodes, I was just going, why are you so gentle through this entire thing? It's just like a very sweet vignette. It's very soft. There's no passion. There's no change of mood through this movie. I felt sorry for what the family was going through, but for God's sake, they didn't show the other side of the coin. There's a violent side to that coin. There is a cutting edge that can rip into a family when you're dealing with something like that. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to bring up my own personal
Mhm.
experience, but I'm just going to say that there is a raw cutting edge that did not come out in that movie.
But I wonder if that was the creative choice, because maybe if they're already living on
Perhaps
the
it was the
daily,
choice.
that let's put our energy in creative perspective and maybe a more positive light. But maybe, who knows?
Say, I partially agree with what she said. I think the movie, it was kind of unfair to the I don't want to say the victim, but the person that it was about. I think it needed to kind of give her an opportunity to kind of express who she was and how she felt, because it was all kind of projected about her, and it almost felt like, you know, she kind of was there as like a show for everyone else to kind of just, you know, I just didn't feel like that felt like there needed to be more to be said, but I did enjoy it. I mean, I really did like it, but I think it needed to give us more, you know, more depth, more layers to it, just something more. I mean, and it was kind of unfair to her.
I thought it was a very beautifully done film, especially being a short. I mean, I think it's interesting hearing the comments when people are saying like which point of view. I think as a filmmaker you have to pick a specific point of view. And straight from the get-go when we saw these shots of like memories, you know, we're in a third person watching people and families. So already she's taken a point of view, right? That it's a reflection. And then it goes back to a gentleman had a wonderful point, which is, look, they were almost speaking for her. It wasn't from the I don't want to call her a victim or the patient or the
Morgen.
Yeah, Morgen. It wasn't from Morgan's point of view, but it seemed to me that, okay, I had this wonderful moment when I realized that it was the filmmaker's sister, right? That was a wonderful moment when it was said, and you, when the father was reflecting. And I thought, oh, this is the voice of the film. It is about the relationship between this filmmaker and her sister. And that's what I thought was so beautiful. She chose that specifically. So it wasn't from Morgan's point of view. It was always a reflection on her relationship with the filmmaker. So that was a wonderfully done film.
Awesome. No, thank you for sharing. Yeah, no, it definitely was the sister's perspective. So who knows how much the sister was a part of some of those dark sides. Maybe the parents protected her from it. But all very great points. And thank you guys so much for being so open with everyone.
The thing I really loved about it, because unfortunately most of what we see in the media about mental illness ends tragically. And I love the fact that they showed that whatever her mental illness is managed now, and she's still living and she's still there. And even though she has her challenges, like the two sisters are seniors at the same time, although she was 3 years older, she's still here, she's still in the family, and they're all working it out. So I love that, because we hardly ever see that. We always see the tragedies.
Exactly. And I think part of the message is that's what we focus on. We focus on the joy and the memories, what we did. We're not discrediting the reality. We're aware of the situation, but we want to make the most of it. Thank you so much.